Hello, hello, hello. Hola, hola, hola. Welcome to a new episode of the Yoga for All Bodies video podcast. Today, as you can see on your screen, I have an incredible guest. Tacia Leanne Savage is a body positive fitness professional, yoga Zumba instructor, personal trainer, and former athlete. Tacia believes that accessible movement is the ability to tune into yourself, ask, what does my body need to move today? And finding the safest way to make that happen. This is how we can make movement a priority in your life, using your intuition to find habits, routines, and environments that help you create the best lifestyle for you. Hello, Tacia, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Natalia?
Good, thank you. So excited. So excited
Yes.
to talk with you because what you're doing is so interesting. You're combining other movements with yoga. So for me, that's always interesting.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you. So I would like to know, how did you decide that you wanted to be in the movement world with Zumba, with yoga, personal trainer? Tell us your story.
Yes. So, hello, everyone watching. My name is Tacia, and I started the movement world actually through Zumba. So, through Zumba, I had studied in Puerto Rico for 6 months in 2010. And around that time, I was actually going through the loss of my grandmother, who was like the matriarch of our family. So it was a time for me that I needed to like express myself and just get into some movement and some happier things because I wasn't really feeling very good. I was very down. So I started taking a Zumba class in Puerto Rico, and it was actually a Zumba and kickboxing. And it was the same studio where I did Taekwondo. So I tried Taekwondo for 6 months, and all of this happened at the fall of 2010. So when I went back to my university, my undergrad at the time in Monterey, California, I got back and I was like, I want to teach movement. I want to do this Zumba. I want to do fitness, and like, show me a sign. And then me and one of my sorority sisters went to the beach. There was a Zumba class on the beach. And I was like, oh my gosh, now I have to do it. So I got licensed as an instructor in 2000, I guess it was 2012. So it was a few years after. Before then, I had been taking classes, and I just decided, like, I love to dance. I really love to move. And that was my way of expressing myself. So started with Zumba, went to more group fitness, got group fitness certified. Personal training was one of the later ones, just like about 5 years ago. So all of this is kind of like snowballed into, I was trying to help myself not feel bad, and movement was my thing.
Amazing. And you know what? I also started practicing yoga regularly when I lost my grandma.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Mi abueli.
Yeah.
So I can absolutely relate. Yes. Yes, I was also in a place that I actually, I started seeing on every watch, on every bill, 111, 222. Have you heard about the angel numbers?
Yes. Oh, for sure. Yes, I see them a lot.
Yes.
I definitely see them a
I'm
lot.
convinced that was my grandma, because when I signed up for my first 200 hours to teach yoga, the numbers were gone.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. It's good to be in tune with with what's going on around us.
Yes. Love to the grandmas. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
And how would you define fitness in your perspective, and maybe in your perspective first?
Yeah, so fitness for me has always been around how I'm feeling. So with the Zumba, and we were just talking about it, I wasn't feeling great, but I wanted to express. So when I felt strong and I started trying new things, that's where I was able to feel like a lot stronger in myself. And um, the fitness is more about me figuring out and carrying through a routine for myself. Now, for me, I don't necessarily want to do marathons all of the time. I did do that. I tried that. It was great. But for me, it's more about like lifestyle. Like, how am I actually feeling? Do I want to get up and go to um, like a CrossFit class, which a lot of people like to do, and that's fantastic. But for me, it's more about I want to feel good. So, a course of me like defining what fitness is, it's more also about giving my students and my clients a chance to also define it for themselves. Like, do I want to get up 3 times a week and do this, or do I want to do this instead? It's just more of a definition for myself.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's true, because the moment you start moving for yourself, everything changes. Instead of, for example, I hated movement. I hated the physical education class. No, not my friend. Then I also discovered Zumba when I was around, I would say 15. So
nice.
I liked that way of moving my body, but to the gym I went, it was all about losing the weight, getting your body ready for summer. No. So I went there, I enjoyed my body, but I had all these messages that were, no. So I stopped going. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Yes. So what would you say, or why do you think it's needed that in the fitness industry, maybe this narrative changes?
Yeah.
Do you see it a lot?
Definitely. Yes, I see it a lot. And I feel like when I was growing up, I remember the first exercise I was exposed to was this Pilates book. At Barnes & Noble, they used to have books with CDs in it. So it was some kind of how-to Pilates book. And that, just doing that in my living room when I was like, whatever age that was in middle school, was liberating. It was liberating because I wasn't necessarily looking at, oh, I need to look like this person, but instead I want to feel what it feels like to feel strong. So how can I do that for myself?
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to make sure I'm answering all of your questions.
Yes.
So feel free to let me know.
And for me, that revelation came when I was 28 and I discovered yoga. Before, it was always like, okay, I need to get truly, now it's not my mindset, but it was my mindset back then. Okay, I need to go back to the gym because I need to prepare for the holidays, to go to the beach. And that way of thinking is super messed up.
Yeah.
And it's encouraged in a lot of fitness spaces. I remember every single time I signed up for a gym, I tried many because I was always dieting. I was always doing exercise to burn the calories instead of, I want to be healthy. and they would measure you as a part of a fitness, I don't know, evaluation maybe. They would weigh you, measure you, and even use some clamps to that is super violent.
I hear you, and it's still practiced as far as how we measure our success, right? We're always told like losing weight is the only way that you can feel good, which I feel like that could be true for some people, but it's not always everybody's goal, and nor does it make everybody feel good either. So I hear you that it was probably something that does not sit well as far as like an experience of going to the gym.
No.
Yeah.
So now I move because it feels amazing. Yes.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter what other kind of people are saying. It's all about what's within you.
Yes. And how do you combine all these practices? For example, do you incorporate some things of the yoga to your Zumba, Zumba to the yoga, to the personal trainer? Oh, tell me about that.
Yes, yes. So initially, I didn't incorporate yoga. It was just something I always like to talk about. And as far as practicing, I do it if I feel like I'm not going to do an hour every day. Maybe I'll do 10 minutes one day, 20 minutes next. With my personal training in yoga, I like to incorporate it as it's kind of like an entry level. I feel like anybody who's just new into movement or wants to get back into a routine, yoga is where I like to start. So really, uh, like a sun salutation is something that I practice myself, and it feels really good to me just because for me, it's more of a moving meditation. So I like to go through that with my clients and in my classes. So for Zumba, I just started teaching an online um, hybrid. So we have a whole 45 minutes hour of Zumba and then 15 minutes of yoga. And it's a really great way that people can end their days. And for personal training, it's flipped. So I'll have some yoga in the beginning, and then the rest of the strength or whatever the person is needing at the time. So I like to see it as a way that you can either enter or you can exit a session that's like a workout or a fitness class or something. So it's a lot of fun to incorporate.
Yes, sounds great. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, we got to
And
get creative.
absolutely, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Yes. And especially because, as you were saying, sometimes we don't have an hour. We expect
Mm-hmm.
our students to have a complete hour of full attention to ourselves and the practice, and that's not
Mm-hmm.
the reality.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So
Love it.
everybody, it's exactly, yes.
And when did you find that calling, or you noticed that you wanted to become a yoga teacher?
Yes. So as far as wanting to become a yoga teacher, the I got my license during the quarantine period in the fall of 2020, and I did everything online. And I feel that the calling has been calling to me to be a yoga teacher for a while. It's just when was I going to step into it? And last year, or I guess in the beginning of 2020, it was one of my for pandemic to complete the training, and I was going to do that through my previous job. Um, and I just, things happened and ended up doing everything by myself online for the most part. And the calling for that has always been like a whisper, but more recently has been a stronger feeling of I need to slow down myself. So how can I do that? I feel like it's going to be through yoga, and if I need it, then everybody else who is connected to me probably needs it too. And if I can provide that, then that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, love it. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, because I mean, I would say 99% of the yoga teachers I speak with realize that
Mm-hmm.
the practice is so powerful, and
Mm-hmm.
we want to share it with the world because it's something
Yes.
that's so needed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Yes,
the
yes,
beauty
yes.
of it is like everybody can create their own type of flow when they're doing it outside of a class, which I think is an important thing for people to know, that it's not only about going to class, but it's also about exploring it on your own and seeing what you can remember or what can feel good for you at that time.
Yes. And how was the
Yeah.
experience of doing the training online? Intense, I can
I
imagine.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So I did that training through at the time it was the Black Yoga magazine, but now it's Black Prana magazine and Yoga Blue Fitness. Um, it was really cool and intense, definitely. That space was a space for mostly people of color, and everything that's happened last year and this year has been very traumatic for people of color. And I myself am African American, and um, having that then experience where we did do an intensive, it was a few days online on Zoom, was very, very powerful. And the intensive made me realize that the community for people of color, especially doing yoga, is there, but just about connecting with each other. And even if it's through connecting with each other through trauma, um, or different difficulties, it's good to still connect. So doing it online was very good for me, and I feel like it definitely served its purpose.
Love it. Love it, love it,
Yeah.
love it. Yes. And I mean, I wanted to ask because when you do the the training in person, it's super
Mm-hmm.
intense. So if you
Mm-hmm.
add that you need to be in front of a of a screen, yes. But
Yeah.
I think that the timing was perfect because as you were mentioning, there's that need of having your community.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So would you
Exactly.
recommend some if someone is watching this interview and they are thinking maybe to take an online teacher training, would you recommend it?
I think it depends. For me, in my experience in fitness, because I've been in the industry for about 10 years now, I recognize that there's some sort of kinesthetic that I have, that it's easier for me to learn and correct myself. But
Mhm.
for some people who are just getting into it, it's probably good to do in person, because if you're not necessarily used to coaching people, or um, just doing it also on your own, then there's a little bit of a barrier for that. I think I was lucky to have a lot of knowledge before I started it. So I think it's good in-person training. And honestly, I probably will do one at some point soon, because that's what I wanted to do anyway. Um, yeah. So online is good. In person is probably solid.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that and for being honest. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course, of course. Yeah. Don't want to steer
And
anybody in the wrong direction.
amazing. Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
Same thing. During the pandemic, I took trainings, but specialty trainings. Because I
Hmm.
already was a yoga teacher, I had my 200, 500. So, especially trainings, I'm completely up to for them to being online. But I agree, yes. If you're taking the foundational training, it's
Hmm.
yes, you need to learn how to move your own body in the correct ways and learn
Hmm.
that teaching aspect in person. That
Yes. Yes.
mhm,
And
because it's
it's
different.
hard to do that online. Yeah, exactly. It is very different.
Yes. And
Hmm.
in the same line, how has been your experience teaching online?
Hmm.
Do you have clients one
Teaching,
on one or groups? How do you do it?
yeah. So I do both, which I love the online aspect, because it's just a little bit easier. I feel like people are a little bit more comfortable, some people, being online. Um, Yeah, but I do both individual and group sessions.
And in person, not yet.
Not yet. No, not yet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm working on that.
Yes, yes. Everything is in transition.
Exactly, exactly.
And yoga for all bodies is all about variations, making the practice inclusive, accessible, and using yoga props. So I would like to
Hmm.
know if you have a favorite yoga prop and why.
Ooh, that is a good question. I feel like it's probably, I don't know if a prop would be a blanket, but I feel like the blanket is the best. Um, it's easy to put underneath your knees, which I find a lot of people really need that, to make yourself a little bit more comfortable when you're doing some cat cows, and even just in your shavasana. The feeling and the comfort for me of being like warm, sometimes they tend to be very cold. Uh, and that is probably the best. If you would call that a prop, I consider it a
Absolutely.
prop.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
For me, everything is a prop. The wall, the chairs, everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes even the dogs. I've seen
Mm.
now teaching online, everybody has their
Yeah.
dog and you can use it. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Amazing. And finally,
Mhm.
How can people find you? Give all the information, promote yourself, go.
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at Train with Tacia, first name Tacia. And I also have a link in my bio there where you can access my live class schedule and you can sign up for classes on my on Podio, which is linked there on Instagram. So mostly I'm on Instagram right now, but you can always email me as well as at trainwithtasha@gmail.com. And I'm usually pretty good with that. So that's where you can find me. Connect with me.
Amazing. So you have all the details, all the information.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tacia, for sharing your passion, for sharing a new perspective also on how you can combine different different knowledges to
Mhm.
this yoga thing.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And if you're watching this video, like it, share it, subscribe, because this is a message everybody needs to know. Everybody can practice yoga, and you don't need a whole hour. You can make tiny changes in your life to live better in your own mind and your own body. Thank you one more time, Tacia. Bye at your homes,
Thank
and
you.
see you in a new episode of the Yoga for All Bodies video podcast. Bye.